Hello, and welcome back to the XFO Intelligence Podcast, the place we decode the future. I have to tell you, I'm just like practically vibrating with energy today because I just came across a piece of writing that, well, it feels less like an article and more like a blueprint for our cognitive revolution. It's this brand new post over on Brendan Wong's blog, dated October 12th, 2025. It's called Beyond Intuition, Building a Latticework of Mental Models for Deep Augmented Thinking. Seriously, just the title alone, it should get your brain firing. Brendan kicks off with an idea that I think every single one of us can relate to. Emphatically, he says we're trying to navigate a 5-dimensional problem with a 2-dimensional map. That is it. That's the feeling. You know, the feeling of being constantly overwhelmed by complexity, where the old ways of thinking just don't cut it anymore. He calls this the crisis of cognition. And the way he frames it's brilliant. He says our brains, for all their magnificence, come with, and this is a quote, buggy pre-installed software for the modern world. I mean, think about it. Our minds are programmed to be energy savers, jumping to conclusions. They are fanatical pattern seekers, seeing faces in the clouds and confusing correlation with causation. And they are master storytellers, weaving a neat narrative even when half the facts are missing. Left to its own devices, this leads to what he calls the man with a hammer syndrome. You know this person. Maybe you've been this person. The person with one area of deep expertise who treats every single challenge like a nail. Because, well, a hammer is the only tool they trust. It's a one-way ticket to flawed decisions and just massive missed opportunities. But here is where it gets incredibly exciting. Brendan says the solution is not to think harder. Emphatically, it's to think better. The solution is to hand that carpenter a full, overflowing toolbox. And this is the heart of deep augmented thinking. So what's in this toolbox? Mental models. But here's the crucial part, the part that so many people miss. It's not about just collecting a random list of models. No. It's about deliberately weaving them together into a resilient latticework. A mental model it's a core principle from a discipline, like second-order effects from systems thinking, or incentives from economics, or natural selection from biology. By themselves, they're useful, sure. But when you layer them, when you look at a problem through the lens of psychology and physics and economics all at once, wow, the world just cracks open. You start to see what everyone else is missing. This is where the post becomes, it's basically an actual instruction manual. Brendan outlines the core principles. First principles thinking, foundational. This is the bedrock. You stop inheriting assumptions and you deconstruct every problem down to its most basic, undeniable truths. You rebuild your understanding from the ground up. Second, fractal decomposition. Mind blown. This idea is it's mind-bending. It's the ability to see the same fundamental patterns repeating at different scales. The way a neuron fires, the way an idea spreads through a team, the way a trend takes over a market, they can all echo each other. By zooming in and out, you find these leverage points that are completely invisible from a single perspective. And third, adaptive resonance. Okay, this is what makes the whole system come alive. It's a continuous learning loop. You predict using your latticework, you act on that prediction, you sense the outcome, and then, this is key, you update your models. Your thinking literally evolves to become more attuned to reality. When you cultivate this, your mind, it starts to operate on a different level. You gain multi-scale perception, fluently shifting between the granular detail and the 10,000-foot view. You experience emergent insight, where these profound solutions seem to just pop into existence from the connection between two different models. Your decisions gain an evolutionary robustness. They become anti-fragile because they no longer depend on one single fragile idea. Look, I'm just giving you the highlights. the spark notes. I'm trying to bottle lightning here. The depth and clarity in this post are on another level. Seriously, it's more than a skill, it's a foundational mindset for navigating the world we live in today. So this is my call to action for you, my strongest recommendation of the year. Go to Brendan Wong's blog and read this post. Beyond Intuition, Building a Latticework of Mental Models for Deep Augmented Thinking. Reading it is the difference between looking at a pile of wood and being handed the architectural plans for a cathedral. It will give you a reliable way to think about anything. Now, here's a question we'd like you to think about until the next episode. What is the single biggest hammer you rely on in your thinking? And what's one new, completely different model from another field that you could add to your mental lattice work this week? Think on that, and we'll see you next time.